Hello, welcome to lesson number 2 in the unit on the Khmer Empire. In this lesson, we're going to be learning about agriculture, fishing, and irrigation in the Khmer Empire. So as I mentioned in the last lesson, the capital of the Khmer Empire was Angkor, and Angkor was located near the Tonle Sap Lake. Tonle Sap, of course, meaning Great Lake. And it was and is a very large lake. Right? And there's a reason, of course, that the old Khmer kings wanted to locate the capital of their empire near such a large lake, because that lake provided water for irrigation, for drinking, as well as for fishing. Okay. The Khmer people depended mainly on rice as their main staple in their diet. So with wet rice agriculture, of course, you need a lot of water and sophisticated irrigation systems if you're going to feed a very large population. So you need a big source of water, and the Tonle Sap provided that water. All right. So again, much like the other kingdoms that we've studied already, the Khmer people depended on rice agriculture. They also had orchards where they grew things like coconuts and betel nut and different types of fruit to add to their diet. And they also grew vegetables like peppers. Now, in addition to the water that the Tonle Sap provided for growing rice and fruit and vegetables, it was also a source of fish. Okay, as you can imagine, there were many different varieties of fish which lived in the Tonle Sap and which still live in the Tonle Sap Lake. Okay, so it was used for fishing as well. And here's an image of the actual Tonle Sap River with some boats and rafts on it. Of course, a modern image of the river, what it looks like today. Sorry, the lake, rather. All right, now, the Khmer people were very, very good at developing sophisticated irrigation systems. Okay. They actually dug giant lakes. They made their own lakes, basically, okay, which would maintain water during the dry season. And they used that water, of course, for irrigation to grow their crops. And when I say they had a sophisticated irrigation system, I mean they had a really well thought out, planned out, and executed irrigation system that worked very well. Okay. Now, these giant man-made lakes that they had, they're called barrays. All right. Here's an example of a barray as it exists today, but which was dug by the Khmer people during the time of the Khmer Empire. I'll give you an idea of what their canal system looked like, their irrigation system. Okay, you had these giant barrays like this one, the Eastern Barray and the Western Barray around Angkor. Here's Angkor Wat, if you've ever been to Angkor Wat. And you can see that the moat around Angkor Wat was connected to this giant irrigation system, okay, and to the barrays which held most of the water, these giant man-made lakes. Of course, you would have had rice grown on the outskirts of Angkor City. As you can see here, these rice fields and orchards, you can also see in this picture, where coconuts and other fruit would have been grown. Okay. I also want to point out that these giant lakes and moats around the temples were also used for religious purposes, because they represented a type of divine astrology from Hinduism. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that Hindu astrology. I should say cosmology, actually, because cosmology refers to the makeup of the cosmos, or of the universe. Okay, so This irrigation system did not only serve a practical purpose in that it provided water for irrigation. Okay, this sophisticated irrigation system and these moats that you see, as well as the lakes, also served a religious purpose in that they represented religious cosmology, specifically from Hinduism. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a future lesson. Okay. If you want to watch this video that I've embedded here, it would really be worth your while. Okay, these crash course history videos are really great. So I'm going to just leave that there for you guys to watch on your own time. And here's another example of the lake, or rather the moat surrounding Angkor Wat. Okay. And here's another example, a real aerial photograph. Right. And here's the actual image of Hindu cosmology. Okay. We can talk a little bit more about that when we talk about architecture. All right. Which is going to be our next lesson. So that's it for this lesson. Thank you very much for listening.